Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks now. Might have had your fill, I can feel it still.
Hi guys, my name's Lexi and this is my first ever YouTube video. Today I'm going to be telling you guys all about myself, my backstory, and who I am as a person. I live in Central New York. I'm 16 years old and I am a junior in high school. I have always been an athletic type person ever since I was young. At 6 years old I started playing youth soccer, and I played that up until my sophomore year in high school, where I decided that I didn't have time for it anymore. And it was a lot to think about because I played for so long and I played for the school and everything else, but after really starting to think about where I wanted to go in life and what I wanted to do, I decided that stop playing soccer was just the best decision for me. Also have an amazing boyfriend who I met through indoor soccer. I met him December of 2017 and we were just really good friends for a while, and I didn't see it going anywhere like this until right around my birthday in August, and we started dating later that month, and we've been dating since. Ever since I was little, I've always wanted to be a veterinarian, and they always say oh, kids' dreams change, everybody wants to be a veterinarian, but then they realize that they can't handle it. But for me, that's never changed. I've wanted to be a vet ever since I was young. I've just always grown up around animals, always had animals in the household. I ride horses now, I have my own dog, I actually have a pet chinchilla, and I debated back and forth for a while if I only wanted to be a vet tech or if I wanted to be a actual veterinarian, and after some careful thought I really decided that veterinarian is where I want to be, because then I'll be able to administer my horse's shots and know that a lot of the stuff what to do in case there's not a vet right near me, because I hope to have my own facility. Nothing big, just a small barn, maybe some boarders that are training or something like that, and a couple resale and training horses of my own, of course. My school actually offers this program. I don't know if anybody else has this, but it's called BOCES, and within that there's this thing called New Visions, where we go right to a local college by us, and we basically internship in our hopeful careers. So next year, my senior year, I'll be getting to do that, and I will be working directly in a vet clinic and do all that cool stuff. Half the year I'll be in a large breed clinic, so I'll see the horses and the cows and the stuff like that, and the other half of the year I'll be in a small breed where it's just cats, dogs, bunnies, that type of stuff. I started riding when I was 7 years old, and I started at this little barn. Not little, it was a show barn. They stalled about 40 horses, and they're about 25 minutes from where I lived, and I rode there once a week for 2 years, and then it started getting a lot more serious, and I started riding more often, going 2 or 3 times a week, and they offered me up this lease horse, and he was a total sweetheart. I've always been a gelding person, and his show name was Big Bucks Billy. He's a quarter horse. When I started leasing him, he was, I think, 19 or 20, and for short, we called him Billy, but he also had nicknames like Sir William, Bilfred, Will, Billy, Big Bucks Billy, Big Butt Billy, all that good stuff. But I showed him for about a year, and I did the local series that they held at my barn, but I never did any off shows with him, off-farm shows. After about a year, he started going downhill. Not anything major, but just he wasn't really fit to be a all-time lesson horse all the time, and he was kind of starting to mess with my confidence, so we made the decision to stop leasing him. So after I rode schoolies for a while, after my lease ended with Billy, the owner of the barn mentioned Dante to me, and this horse was a miracle in disguise. When I first saw him, I had no intentions of wanting to lease him, be anywhere around him, no matter what people said, because he was not the nicest on the cross ties. He wasn't gelded fully until he was 3, because they originally gelded him only to find out he had a third that they'd missed because it hadn't dropped, so they had to go back in and remove that one, and as a result he had pretty bad manners when he was young, and they just never really, he just kind of grew up to know that it was okay, not in a rude way but in a playful way. So as a result, a little timid me was no, I don't want anything to do with this. And I ended up riding him anyway, and I fell in love with this horse under saddle. And my family made the decision to lease him for me, and we did the local shows that were right at my farm, and then we went to our first state fairgrounds show in summer of 2015. And then that following May, we went to a Breeders Association show, which was AQHA right there, also at the fair. In April of 2016, right before the Breeders show, is when we bought Joker. And that was a kind of a surprise, like spur of the moment type thing. We didn't really know we were gonna do it, but you know, best decision we ever made. I love him so much. And when we got back from Breeders is when we started to discover that he wasn't really fit for the lesson program anymore. He didn't really have the oomph to jump anymore, and he was starting to lose confidence in himself. And it wasn't really anything he did wrong or anything I did wrong. It was just he was getting older, you know, horses aren't what they are when they're young and stuff like that. So my lease slowly came to an end with him as summer got closer and closer. My house, so I decided to stop riding at Popple Ridge and made the full decision to move over to TGC. And that's where I am now. I decided to start taking lessons under Courtney because I really couldn't handle Joker on my own, and that was that. So I help take care of the barn when she's not available or she goes away on vacation, all that good stuff. Started to go really good from there, and that following October we went to our first show, and that was really exciting, and I switched to the jumper world. This entire time I was a hunter, and all of a sudden it became my jumper horse, and you know, that's where we train now still. We've thrown him in a hunter ring once or twice, but he definitely likes the jumper world better. So now I'm going to tell you the story of my accident that happened on May 11th of 2018. It was the day before our first horse show of the season, and my trainer had just redone her entire outdoor. Joker and I were just getting back in the groove of things. It was our first ride in the outdoor the night before the show. And we were schooling, and it started out okay, but he started getting really fresh and just being an absolute jerk. And he ended up bucking me off. I landed on my back, and it hurt, but I was like, you know what, whatever. And I got back on, had some choice words, and I guess I rode for like another 10 minutes. Then I woke up on the ground. And, you know, when I first woke up, like, I could only see from, like, here to here. And it was pretty scary, and, like, everything was, like, really hazy, and my trainer came over. Like, when I woke up, like, my trainer was, like, in my face, like, hello! I was like, what's going on? So I guess he did, like, this teeter-totter, like, rocking horse thing, and I just right on my face, you know? Good stuff, you know? Oh, God. I'm not supposed to be able to laugh about these things. That's... So they ended up having to take me to the hospital, and they only had an idea that I might have a concussion. They didn't really know anything else that could or couldn't be wrong with me. So when I got there, they had to do full body workup, head to toe, scan my head, x-ray my whole body, MRIs, all that good stuff. And they had me up till almost 2:30 in the morning doing tests, and they finally got me in a room for a night, and they sat down, they pulled my mom out in the hall, and she came in and told me what happened. I had a fracture on my T vertebrae, and I was still in concussion watch because even though my head scans didn't show anything, I still had blacked out, and when I first came to, I couldn't see fully and I was a little hazy, so they have to keep me on concussion watch. I got taken out of school for a week, and the first 3 days I just sat home and I did literally nothing. I was so depressed, I was so upset, it was bad. And that Thursday my trainer was like, why don't you come to the barn for me for the day? We don't even have to go out in the barn. You can hang out in the house, we'll watch a movie. I think you just need to get out of your house. And I was like, okay, fine. So we went and did that, and we ended up walking down to the barn, and I went and saw Joker, and it was really good to see him. I had lost a lot of oomph to want to go to the barn just because I couldn't ride. It made me upset, especially knowing that I wasn't going to ride for another month. And my family started urging me to start going more because it wasn't fair to Joker to stop going just because I couldn't ride. Courtney could ride him, and I could be there to watch and help groom and give him treats and spoil him and all that good stuff. So I started getting back on a normal schedule of going and watching my trainer ride him. And I had my 3-week scans, and they decided to tell me that I wouldn't be riding for a month and a half. I wouldn't be riding for 3 months. And they basically wanted me to sit around and do nothing for those 3 months. Absolutely nothing. They didn't even really want me working my summer job, which was just doing basically Pinterest activities with kids. It's at Yogi Bear Jellystone Park. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but such a fun place to work. I love it there. And then in August, I got cleared, and you know, I got back to a schedule, and you know, during that time when I was down is when I met Quinn, and didn't think much of her other than just thought she was a sale horse, and yeah, all that good stuff. So in October of that year, I got to go to my first ever hunter show with him, and it was my first show that entire season, my first and last. Funny. And we pulled off a 6th out of like 13. Actually, no, not that many. 6 out of like maybe 9. I don't know. It was not a good show. It was not real pretty. But you know, I wasn't really expecting anything. I wanted to get around the course and come out still on the horse's back. And I don't know, like June or July, Quinn came to the barn, and she was meant to be one of Courtney's real sale horses, and I helped take care of like her ad and groom her and everything. And when I got cleared, like my 5th ride back, Courtney was like, "You're gonna go ride Quinn." I didn't think much of it. It was more of just like a someone other than a professional on her back, see what she does type of thing. She was phenomenal for me. She started having me ride her more just so she could get worked, because my trainer was really busy at the time with other stuff. And she was like, "Lexi, why don't you ride Quinn and keep her on a schedule for me?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'd love to." And I fell in love with her. And that's when I knew I needed to have her. And just in March 13th, I learned that Quinn was officially mine. So, that's exciting. Basically all about me, and I'm sorry that this was really rough and it's so long and that I'm so like jumpy because, you know, not really good at talking about myself. I don't know how I just did this for almost 15 minutes. That's crazy. Maybe longer than 15 minutes. I guess we'll see once I edit this. Yeah. Let me know down in the comments what you thought. If there's anything I missed, anything else you want to know, anything we have in common, you know, all that good stuff. And stay tuned, because hopefully next I'm going to do a Meet My Horses video, and I've got some other things in mind, so stay tuned. Bye guys!